myself, I'm not just gonna stand here and wait. I wanna just decide what is to be my fate. Alone all by myself, I'm not just gonna stay here and wait.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Auditing Insanity Watch Party, where we're going to watch some news articles and have fun. And good morning, Verbo. How are you?
Well, hello. I am warm.
You're warm? Why are you warm?
Yeah, because it's like 100 degrees at my house.
Oh. It's only 71 here with heavy rain, so I'm enjoying this. I'm actually enjoying life for the first time. Plus, I had a magical, wonderful experience with a 5-hour energy extra, grape-flavored, sugar-free, earlier today.
Ugh.
So I'm
Tastes
going
like
to be
Diamond
bouncing off the walls. I'm going to be bouncing off the walls for the next few hours. I probably won't sleep tonight because the power of the delicious 5-hour energy extra. Available wherever you get your energy drinks. See, 5-hour energy, we can take sponsors. We can do it. If you want to sponsor us, damn it. Yes.
Yes. I'm a fan of Bang, personally. I like all of the additives in it. Some of it's good for my migraines. I try to cap out at about 450 milligrams of caffeine per day, but I need it for my blood pressure. My blood pressure is just garbage. It's too low.
All I know is, yes, I'll be up for a while. And we have good news. Anyone want to hear good news? Inside chat,
Yes.
say good. Say good if you want good news. I've got some good news because Parsons wants to know if I have good news, and I do, but you have to say you want to hear some good news. And Parsons said, do you like the Bang? I don't know. He's being Parsons.
Yeah, they're delicious. They're Bang energy drinks. I like the nectarine blueberry. It's one of my favorites.
So Gia says bad. Gia wants the bad news. Okay, Gia, the bad news is we're not yet at basic level 1 monetization. But the good news is we're only 87 people away from basic monetization. And we seem to be picking up 8 or 9 people every day. So hopefully we're, well, kind of 8 or 9. I don't know. I lost count. But hopefully we will be making monetization before September. So, yay!
Good job, Jim. Good job.
Yay! Well, you're part of this too, because we're basically, our lives are what propels us through these things. So, we get a lot of hits on lives. We get a lot of hate from Turtle Boy LIA supporters. I mean, one asked me earlier. Yeah, one asked me earlier what drugs I was on. I was like, okay, what are you offering? So,
sorry. There's drugs on offer?
Yeah, I don't know. He said, are you off your meds? And I'm like, well, what are you offering? So, I mean, it's not like I'm going to take random drugs, but they are.
Yeah, you should absolutely not take any random drugs people give you. Drugs are expensive, though. I know people that like drugs. That's fine. It's nice that they want to gift us such nice things, such nice expensive things. How kind of them.
Our second story is all about Chille DeCastro and where the hell he's been. But first, we've got to get through the GoFundMe, and guess what? I hijack it again to go into another tangent. So enjoy, folks, as we go into me, DeCastro fails again. Goose eggs, glorious goose eggs, are going to be the only takeaway from this column that you need to remember, as for the third straight day, Jose Chille DeCastro has failed to captivate his audience long enough to get them to Oh yeah, just a heads up, on two of these, I left the translations pretty much alone. On the other two, I basically cut and pasted the text from what I was reading into them. See if you can notice the difference.
We'll
Throw
see.
money at him. It means that we too have failed. We can mark that up to 2 days of very late papers and newscasts, as we forced ourselves to learn something new in the absolutely 0 hours of free time we have in order to do things other than the paper each day. This time we took the time to learn Unreal Engine and get Karen Reed renders up in time to use them for today's thumbnails for our ongoing coverage of her case. We did, however, spend money this weekend, a bit more than we had intended, as the Unreal Engine and Real Illusions I cloned had some tough times with licensing, which we're still grumbly about. See our Cash Apps and GoFundMe if you'd like to help. But as you can see in our Jim's Disturbing Renders forum, it was totally worth it. Discord membership required. There was a time that people would criticize this column as they looked at our actions and our promotions and asked us why we would spend so much time yelling about people asking for money in GoFundMe crowdfunding when wasn't that what we're doing ourselves. And to those folks, we say that they're kind of missing the point. We freely admit that we are begging for help until such times as we're monetized and we can earn a living off of YouTube. As we're already in poverty due to events outside of this column over the past 6 months, it wouldn't take a lot of money from YouTube to make us shut up a bit and be able to cover our own expenses. But we're also busting our ass every day for the little we bring in. We spend between 12 and 14 hours a day researching and writing articles for the paper, turning those articles into segments for the newscast, hosting live panels, hosting the live news watch-along parties, and otherwise doing things to improve the quality of what we present both here and on reallycoolsite.org. This column pokes fun at the creators who just throw up a crowdsourcing campaign and expect money to come rushing in for just creating the campaign. They don't do the extra work, they don't attempt to put out videos, host new lives, or bust their asses to make sure that their viewers, i.e. their customers, are happy and come back to their channels. Our niche is an old-style news radio show that you can throw on in the background without having to worry about the video and just listen to our stories. Our newsman voice and inflections are inspired by the character of Bill McNeil on the 90s TV show News Radio, with the sing-song inflection of days of old. It's not for everyone. Anyone born before 1999 is probably not going to understand it, proven by the comments we get from those folks. We offer up news either as a program you can sit down with every night, like we old people did with nightly newscasts of old, take in bite-sized snippets, join live to hang out, or just put one of our playlists up and marathon while you're doing other things. But we put time in it. We don't expect money to come flowing in because we do what we do each day. That's why we poke fun at the creators on this list. I mean, with close to 600,000 subscribers, shouldn't there be one person in Jose Chille DeCastro's fandom to throw $5 at him if they're real? Sean Paul Long Island Audits Reyes gets a pass with close to 800,000 subscribers. He does everything he can to maximize revenue from them to the point where he doesn't need to crowdsource. Remember, this is the man who bought the $160,000 billboard truck before he crowdsourced for it, so he's not hurting at all. But everyone else? If you want to make a living off of crowdsourcing, or you need to crowdsource to fund your legal bills, you must do something to earn it. Throwing up a campaign is not enough these days. You've got to remind people, you've got to mention the campaign, and you've got to go the extra mile to promote something in return for their time, money, and investment in you. That's why we mock the lazy-ass creators who don't bother and then whine about their circumstances. The list is long and growing, and since we're not monetized, if you'd like to join our daily hate watcher and making us work our ass off for every penny that we take in while forcing us to write this column every day, we do have a GoFundMe of our own. All proceeds go to keeping the lights on, eating, and writing news stories to feature here and on reallycoolsite.org. And Alanize is guilty, guilty, guilty. Unless he donates, then he's innocent, innocent, innocent. Because that's how the system works.
And just to reiterate, any donations should come from your fund budget, your discretionary fund. It should not impact your life. There should be no downside to you participating. And showing
Yeah.
up, commenting, liking, sharing, that's huge. And it's very, very appreciated.
And, yeah, we're not Chille DeCastro. You don't have to give up meals just to donate. That was kind of icky when he did that
No,
last year a couple of times.
absolutely not.
Seriously.
I
It,
I am offended and horrified by the idea. Please do not do that.
now, speaking of chili and eating, I did not approach it in that last one, but when we did the renders, or when we're doing the renders this time, I had a lot of complaints that our chili model is reflective of maybe chili in the 90s, early 2000s, but isn't
Hmm.
reflective of the creature they see every day. And we had handled that by doing a fat version of chili, sorry, a heavy version of chili, and we had done that with
Husky.
a separate older version of chili. Well, this time around, we just made one chili. And he's kind of portly, kind of gray haired, kind of a mix of all three. And he will be wearing the same outfits. So there's that! The half shirts,
Um,
the leather, everything as Husky Chili is coming out to play.
wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. The things that come out of your brain, Jim, they're
I
unique
know.
and entertaining.
I know. And I've got 3 stories to write before bed tonight, so. Let's go into the next one. Where in hell is Chille DeCastro? Jose Chille DeCastro took a rare day off from streaming on Sunday to focus on things that are important to him, which some would say are getting a buzz off of Freaky Friday items, pooping in a bucket, and figuring out what to do next with his life. Okay, Freaky Friday is the lamest way to get around saying crack. But the YouTube censor is only going to let us go so far before we're hit for saying naughty things on the air. The point is, he hasn't been on the air for the first time since returning to live streaming after his time in jail. It's just a continuation of his failure to capitalize on the goodwill and interest in his case after being wrongfully jailed by a corrupt judge. One of the benefits of writing the paper as a publication for so long is the fact that we can go back and examine data we wrote ourselves about a year ago. Yes, we're a biased source, but it is interesting to note that exactly a year ago, DeCastro had 300,000 less daily subscribers than he does now and drew about 260 live viewers per live stream. That would inflate up to 5 to 15,000 in total views after going live, then do under 100 comments and about 100 likes when all was said and done. Exactly like his metrics for the past week. Comparing the shows from last year until now, and they're exactly the same. Yes, it looks like he's changed studios, and yes, he now has something like 4 editors to replace Colin Project Constitution Campbell at his disposal. But the video product is the same. The topics are the same. The presentations are the same. Other than the addition of the 5A cop cards, he was making the same marketing pitches and sales on his trifolds then as he was doing now. There's been no progress. It's just like a never-ending video of bad infomercials. He could, and probably should, just run reruns of his old videos and save himself the work at this point. Cops are bad, bad are cops. Buy the trifold, buy the 5A cop card. Would anyone actually notice if he put on old footage? Would anyone care? He'd still get 5 to 15,000 people in total viewership, under 100 comments, and about 100 likes. Side note, Project Constitution Campbell does exactly what we're talking about, chopping up old videos he produced for DeCastro and putting out his own version of the 5A cop cards and trifolds in order to make a living. DeCastro can learn a lot from his former partner about exploiting his footage. Turning back to DeCastro, 600,000 subscribers. His target demographic is the United States, yet most of his views come when bot farms are most active, and nearly the entire population of the United States is asleep. Again, we're falling into Chilleisms, but there's something very wrong in Chilleville, and we're hoping he's taken the day to correct the course as the ship is approaching the iceberg, and there's absolutely no belief that not even God can sink this channel. Expect his return to live streaming later today. So there was a point there in the rant that doesn't matter anymore. All he does is say the same things over and over and over and over. He gets the same metrics as last year. Everything he's doing is this endless Groundhog Day of Chilleisms.
Right. Well, I mean, what's his motto? He don't stop. He ain't got no quit. Whatever his deal is. I mean, that's not. It's like pathological for him. He's like stuck
Yeah.
in a loop, and he just can't get out of it.
I mean, this is the third straight day he didn't bring in a dime in his GoFundMe campaigns. The $100,000 he so desperately needed a week ago, he put no effort into actually promoting the URLs or promoting the campaigns, even though he
Hmm.
needs supposedly the $100,000 right now to hire the best lawyer and then get millions of dollars out of the state of Nevada for his false arrest. Well, with the barely $4,500 he's earned so far from that, he's not going to get a retainer on anybody.
No.
He can't afford the best right now. He could barely afford Michael Me, the person he says is a dumbass. So we're in this
Right.
weird
Right.
zone where Chille needs the money. He knows how to make the money. He's just unwilling to break from making what, 5 real whole price sales on the damn cop cards and 5A, or
Hmm.
the 5A cop cards in the trifold, and then he gives away like multiple copies of each when you actually order something.
Well, I mean, ethically, there is no bang for his buck, so I think the only thing he can do is just duplicate the order over a couple times. But I don't know. He seems like he's stuck on a loop. It seems like jail broke something in him, quite literally. I don't think he's exaggerating when he says he got like, institutionalized a little bit and stuff. I do think that's true. I just don't think he has like the vim and the vigor to drum up the support and the monetary support like he used to be able to do. And sometimes with these kind of delusional, narcissistic kind of people, they forget that the engine will stall if they don't continue to put the work in. And I think he's just expecting, status quo, but, just like you can't go off on like a bender and expect your business to stay afloat.
Right.
You got to be there to work.
Well, what do you think about him basically the whole thing to the $100,000 donations was you can party in Vegas with Chille once he wins his millions of dollars. Would you give him $5 to go party with Chille?
No, no. That sounds like a weird promise I heard somebody else make one time. You know, don't put any stock into weird promises that are larger than life and have no scheduled date. You know?
Now, I did find a new GoFundMe that will start tracking. It's pretty much dead, except it's Blue Bacon's GoFundMe, and it's not only earned his goal, it's
Hmm.
surpassed it by several $1,000s.
Yeah, I think he got some pretty quick and steady assistance for when he needed to go to court against Chile. He got a pretty good lawyer that's just burying Chile in paperwork. So,
Yeah,
you know.
And it's still getting money. I mean, it doesn't get it daily, but every couple of months someone puts in a couple of $100. But just percentage wise, out of everything, we haven't had anyone actually surpass their goal or even meet their goal. So it was a surprise to finally see one. And yes, Alan Eyes,
Mhm.
Blue Bacon. Yes, Alan Eyes, we know what you have for Blue Bacon. Uh,
Whew.
it was just sort of weird to see. Uh, one of these things to actually be successful, especially on account that Blue Bacon rarely ever streams anymore. He's more on
Hmm.
his Discord server than anything, and he's not even
Oh, yeah.
around, but he's making money.
Right. Well, I mean, the fundraising efforts don't just go through YouTube, they also go through Discord. There's a huge overlap in the audience, and participants between Discord and YouTube. So, I mean, he's still engaging with a core section of his audience, maybe not the full audience, but a core section of them. And, they want to support him. That's all nice. That's great. Do what you like with your money.
And now, let's go to the king of money. The man who has more money than anyone, any of the others whatsoever. The man with several people living in his brain. Reyes audits a traffic and parking agency. In a video produced by Sean Paul Long Island Audit Reyes about Sean Paul Long Island Reyes, the reporter Reyes reported on the activist Reyes rejecting a plea deal and we the people affecting change in a confusing mess of pomp and circumstance and multiple Reyeses living in the same person. The video was apparently shot at the Suffolk County Traffic and Parking Violations Agency at an unknown time and date and claims to be about retaliatory tickets and some sort of plea deal that reporter Reyes for sure claims are from retaliation and not poor driving or parking habits. Because after all, reporter Reyes, activist Reyes, and the man named Reyes seem to indicate that they all are incapable of sin, incorrect action, and by God, getting a traffic ticket that's not involved in a conspiracy. Approximately 7 minutes of the video was devoted to old footage of an incident reporter Reyes had at the facility the last time he was there conducting an audit. He was approached by several security and police officers who wanted him to stop recording, and he protested the signage prohibiting him from filming in the building. It was apparently filmed before orders in his lawsuit against the city and state of New York, which saw signage preventing filming in public areas of some police facilities removed. The signage wasn't present during the new audit, though the security officer asked if he was filming, and he denied doing so at the start of the audit. Reporter Reyes then encountered a woman in the ticketing area and explained that he received tickets for the individual windows of his SUV that were apparently improperly tinted. He claimed that under New York law, the back two windows could be of any darkness, and he was disputing the darkness of the front two windows. The woman moved to another window as she saw reporter Reyes was filming her, and she was uncomfortable being on film. She then said she'd dismiss 3 of the tickets and leave him with a single ticket. Driver Reyes objected to this and said he'd rather sue, using lawyer Reyes maybe, than face any tickets and take the tickets to trial. The woman walked away from him as he announced reporter Reyes was recording our public servants in the course of their duties and felt that it was hypocritical to object to his filming as there were security cameras in the building. Reporter Reyes then explained that the woman, who was unidentified, was a prosecutor who was conspiring to force him to take a plea deal by removing 3 of the tickets and leaving him with just 1. Driver / constitutional law scholar / sunglasses at night Reyes then went into a long-winded explanation about the tickets being retaliatory for using his constitutionally protected rights of freedom of speech and not for illegally tinted windows because, Christ-like Reyes can do no wrong. After a brief wait, the woman offered to drop the 3 tickets and drop the fine to $105 on the last ticket. Activist Reyes jumped in to say it wasn't about the money. It was about the fact that the officer was acting in retaliation and did not use a tint meter to measure the tint on the windows, and Reyes had negatively encountered the officer in the past. another wait, and he was given an August 26, 2024 court date. Reporter Reyes left the room and marveled that all the signage prohibiting recording had been removed as "We the People," i.e. reporter slash activist slash Christ slash law scholar slash sunglasses at night Reyes, affected changes for the better. All in all, the Reyes Collective gave the Suffolk County Traffic and Parking Violation Agency a passing grade. He was happy that the signs were removed and warned that the woman he was talked to was anti-transparency, and if she was not comfortable with reporter Reyes recording her, she should find a new job. Well, there you go. He is so rich, he has 8 people living in his head.
Right. It's not inseparable at all. Not inseparable at all. I don't know, man. I think most people do not go to work in the morning expecting a camera to be in their face. Whether it's legal or not, whether it's appropriate or not, you just don't expect it. It's jarring, it's uncomfortable, it's irritating. He's insufferable, it's just like an untenable situation where the consummate professional has to like fortify and deal with this jackass. And I'm sorry to her.
Number one, he refers to himself as "we the people," and that's creepy.
I know.
I mean, these are it's the first time I actually heard him call himself "we the people," and I'm like, who?
It's like the royal we. It's like he.
Yeah, I know.
He pluribused out the royal we. I don't know. It's weird.
But he's also trying to make it like he's talking about him plus his fans, when it was just him involved in all of this. His fans didn't give a damn about these lawsuits, other than he got richer from them. And it also, as to your point, today we saw this in a story we're doing for tomorrow, where Regan Benson came across a police officer in downtown Denver today who was eating his lunch in his car. She pounded on the window, asked him some questions, and he's like, "Well, I'm in the middle of my lunch." And she's like, "Well, are you getting paid?" And he said, "Yeah, I get paid." And she's like, "Well, you have to clock out, or else you need to answer my questions and put your food down."
Okay, all right. Well, I don't think she has any control over HR practices, how they calculate their breaks and lunch times and all that kind of stuff. There's different ways that is scheduled as far as pay and actual time and all that. They're just all insufferable. We are not owned people when we work for the government.
Hint, if he's on a salary, he doesn't need to clock out. He doesn't need to clock out.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know what his pay schedule is. I don't know how any of that works for him specifically, but that's not how this works. You're not in charge. And when they say things like, "Well, I pay your salary because I pay taxes," he pays taxes on his own wages. He pays himself.
Right.
He is equally his own boss then. So, what? What? Get out of here.
Then she had an extended hissy fit because he chewed with his mouth open at one point while he was talking to her. And he didn't put the food down.
Oh, that's interesting. All right.
She said that he was purposely trying to be disgusting to make her go away. But it wasn't going to work. Even though she got mad, told him to F off, and stormed off. But it's Regan.
Right.
You know?
Okay, so for future reference, if anybody encounters Regan Benson and would like her to leave, chew loudly with your mouth open.
Yeah.
Maybe slurp some noodles. Noodle slurping usually makes them mad. Loud chip crunching, which is one of my favorite activities to do.
There you go.
Gum, smacking gum, maybe 2 pieces of Bubblicious. Go 2 pieces.
Remember, she's famous herself for smacking her gum around. You know, it used to discuss some people on the old show whenever we'd cover her because all you
Oh
could
yeah.
hear was her damn gum.
Yeah, it was like a cow chewing cud. Yeah, it specifically irritated me.
Now she stopped it recently, but who but me is watching her videos? You know? No one else
I think
is.
she's got about 14 people or so. She yells at them for not donating.
Well, she had, let's see, what are my notes? She had 67 people out of her, let's see, 22,900 subscribers. She could draw 67 people today.
Yeah, whew, that's a bad active base there. That's a lot of just dead
Yeah,
subscribers.
it doesn't make a lot of sense. But speaking of not making a lot of sense, let's jump into our flashback. 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 Flashback to July 22nd, 2023. Jose Chille DeCastro attempted to fundraise for Jason Dollarhide's Bond Friday night after successfully finishing this fundraiser for a disabled fan. DeCastro played the majority of Dollarhide's arrest after a confrontation with police in an Oklahoma park last year during the stream, laughing and giggling his way through the video and appearing to have problems focusing for long periods of time during the live stream. With a conversation between DeCastro Hint, I was saying he was high out of his mind without actually saying he was high out of his mind. Sorry for
I like to
interrupting.
say jazzed up.
Oh, he loved playing that video with Jason Dollarhide trying to fight the police at one point. Yeah, he was
Oh yeah.
higher than a kite. Castro and Dollarhide's wife Heather playing in the background. Heather telling DeCastro that she needed to raise another $500 towards the goal of $6,250 she said she needed towards her husband's bond. Jason Dollarhide called DeCastro during the event, clearing up some of the inconsistencies of the case in the brief call. Dollarhide indicated that he has been in jail since Saturday, July 15th, and currently faces charges of eluding and assaulting police officers after he attempted to avoid them when they came to his house to bring him into custody after a previous bond had been revoked. Dollarhide claimed that he had initially been bonded out of custody after a bail bondsman covered the $10,000 bond, but he was denied release after multiple new charges were added, including a felony. Of the 10 new charges, only 2 were later picked up by prosecutors. The $10,000 bond was then increased to $125,000. The reported initial bond request by police for the altercation was $400,000, but was reduced to $125,000. Dollarhide then stated that his lawyer was trying to have it all reduced further, with Heather Dollarhide raising money towards the 10% needed to free him once the bond was further reduced. DeCastro eventually raised the money needed by the Dollarhides. It is unclear when or if Dollarhide will be released from jail. Well, we've got an answer to that. He's still in jail. He's still in the same jail. He's been in the same jail for a year now. He's been sentenced
Right.
to at least a year in that jail, and then I believe 15 years in state prison. So
Right. And
he,
did they get divorced yet, or is that just that has that been filed, or has that been
as
concluded?
far as I know, it was never filed. She gave all that money to the divorce lawyer on Chille's demand, so she could
Right.
get her kid back. But then she got accosted, we'd say, by Floyd Wallace, allegedly. Then she fell off the
Mm-hmm.
wagon, and now there's still a warrant out for her arrest for skipping a hearing a couple months ago for illegally borrowing someone else's car without
Oh,
asking.
that's
Yes,
nice.
she is a wanted fugitive at this point. She's got a bail on her pretty good. So,
So
yeah.
it's not like these people made great choices before they met Chile, but like their lives rapidly deteriorated once Chile like
Yeah.
stepped in. Like they lost their kid, their marriage was on the rocks. He's poorly
And
represented, arrested.
Chile was trying to make the moves on Heather Dollarhide at one point. That's why he was trying to get her to, divorce your husband, be with me for a while. I mean, divorce your husband, get your kid back. But his intentions up until Floyd interviewing, quote unquote, her, and then having to pay her off for Floyd's interview, quote unquote, yeah, he was after her. He was hot and heavy for Heather Dollarhide for a while there. So
yeah. I think you saw
that
like
would
a
have been-
dynamic fundraising duo. You know, like she got it. She could be
Yeah,
integrated
but
in.
I mean, I'm not one to criticize someone else's appearance, but she has meth teeth to give you the sign that, no, maybe this one isn't for you. She's an addict who really needs help and isn't going to
Right.
be your first lady, Chille, no matter
He
what
knows a good
universe she's
dentist.
in. Yeah. I mean, it did come out
Yeah.
that she had 3 kids taken away from her. She's got 3
Yep.
sons by somebody
Yep.
else that were already in the foster system because she couldn't care for them. And this new daughter is, or well, she's 10 now, she's in the foster system too because neither Dollarhide is a fit parent. Well, one's in jail and the other's a junkie. So it's just,
On the lam.
like you said, yeah, on the lam. But like you said, everyone Chille tries to help, it goes to hell.
Mhm.
It just does. I mean, look at Dick Heller. Dick Heller is now posting the most vile and racist things on his Twitter that he can post, that he can logically get
Yeah.
away with. And Heller was an
Yeah,
American
it's
hero,
wild.
according to Chille. Yeah. Notice
Yeah,
Chille hasn't
that.
mentioned Heller in quite a while. So,
No.
yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know if you were following the whole Dick Heller saga, but they did seem like a cute little couple
Slippery.
together. Yeah,
Yeah,
when
no,
they were
no, I
doing
saw a little bit of that. So,
when they were doing their lives sitting next to each other, it was like Bert and Ernie, you know? That
Mhm.
quietly couple, you know? The one that they don't
Right,
admit it,
right.
but as soon as the camera goes off, you know who's in charge. That's
oh god.
oh. But anyway, folks, we're getting out of here on that disturbing note. We do have the newscast, the produced newscasts with my commentary and all sorts of other fun stuff going live about 8 o'clock Eastern, right back here on this channel. It is all, you don't have to attend it if you don't want to. It's again, it's a straight newscast. And we'll be back here tomorrow with our regularly scheduled watch party. We'll also, tomorrow night, will be the return of a Tuesday on a Tuesday. The All-Star panel returns on a Tuesday as scheduled. So there's that, isn't it? Anyway, folks, thank you for being here. For those who have made donations since the lifetime of the channel, thank you so much. You're what keeps us going. So everyone else who hasn't, your likes, your subscribes, your just comments keep us going, and we are very
Participation.
thankful for that. Yeah,
Thank you.
it's those are often more important because it gets us into the algorithm, and it gets the hate watchers come in from LIA, which since I'm about to release those articles later tonight, or the one article, I'm sure we'll have 1,000 hate watchers. I think the one on him is up to 2,000, the last one we did. Mainly his
Nice.
subscribers trying to thumbs down it. So, there you go.
Well, hello, LA's, friends, watchers.
Friends and family. Anyway, let's get out of here. Any last words for him, Verbo?
Stop by, have a good time. You might like us. You never know.
Yeah, and we'll be back tomorrow.
that's true.